And welcome back, ladies and gents, to our final game of the day for week 3? Yes, week 3, sorry. Like, start counting weeks of the Garena LOL Varsity League 2017 Summer Term, powered by Lenovo, Light the Sky. But of course, before we get into things, we'll be introducing ourselves as your casters for today. I'm Arctic at your service, fam. With me is Crazy Apple. Baliw na mansanas. Tinagalog talaga. Pero, anyways, let's go ahead and talk about what transpired earlier. Yeah. Game 1, Game 5 in total, if you're going to base it off all the games. Pero for Match 3, TUP in a very convincing fashion dominated against the iAcademy Game Changers. Of course, like we mentioned, this could potentially be easily remedied by a little bit of an adjustment to the draft, playing to what they're much more attuned to. Yeah. And I think that would translate to a better game against TUP. But of course, it will come down to how they play out and draft that game. But let's go ahead and check out the standings real quick just to see where we find everyone in terms of footing, as we do see right now. If it's kind of a tie with 4 wins each for Amy Retaliate as well as TUP. If ever TUP loses out this game, they're going to be tied out with Amy University. But if they do win this game, man, they are going to be sitting pretty at the top of the ladder for the LVL.
Yeah, and also TUP would be keeping the trend for this week, because the 2 matches before have been 2-0s. So let's see if TUP keep on getting the 2-0.
Kailangan consistent tayo. Pero that's something that, of course, iAcademy Game Changers doesn't want. Of course, they want to break that, push it into a 1-1 to make sure that they keep themselves in the running towards becoming the champion for the LVL. But let's go ahead and see. Looks like we will be heading into the drafting phase. Once again, iAcademy Game Changers and TUP's Monster and Veil Prodigium take the stage. Let's go.
Oh, for the first bans for IAC, currently they're banning out 2 ADCs. Curiously, they're banning out the Saya and the Caitlyn. For TUP, they're keeping on with the trend with what they banned in the first game. They're banning out the Galio, the Malzahar, and for the third ban of IAC will be Azir. For TUP, it's still the same first 3 bans.
Pretty much. I mean, looks like won't be shaking up things in just yet. But meanwhile, iAcademy will be taking this job in the 4th for themselves, denying that from Jai. I like that first pick. Definitely a better pickup in comparison to earlier by going... Oh, then again, it's a good and sakto lang na pickup with the Ezreal and Shen.
Yeah, I agree. And also, just by picking up this Jarvan, I think Jarvan is one of the stronger junglers this patch.
I agree.
Because other from the previous buffs I think he had from other patches ago, he also can make really good use of the current set of T-Cell Masters at the moment. He can either go full AD Jarvan, would probably go Electrocute, and he could also go like Grass of Aftershock because of a lot of all the CC that he packs in his kit.
Meanwhile, looking at TUP, looks like Acedia are going to shake things up a bit. We'll be going for the Camille. Go for this first rotation, and Nico gonna stick with the Alistar. He did perform on it immensely. Like, if I had to go for MVPs for TUP, of course, clearly for game 1 it would be Acedia, but following short of him after, I'd definitely pick Nico because he played a great game on the Alistar. I mean, he was the sacrifice in a way, but through that sacrifice produced bigger results for TUP towards realizing that bigger picture.
Yeah, exactly. And looking at the other picks for both teams, IAC picked Jace and Janna, then TUP picked, as I said, the Alistar and the Sejuani. For the bans for IAC, they banned the Gangplank and the Ornn, which is kind of curious. There are 2 top lane bans with already the Camille picked up. But for TUP, they banned the Bard and the Syndra. So they're really pinching Import's champion pool right here. And as you can see, IAC, is that a blocked in? Yeah, they locked in the Misfortune and the Lissandra.
Interesting. Draven here coming in from Navi. Looks like we're going to see a little bit of style here in the bot lane for TUP. Draven and the Alistar. Meanwhile, I'm not even going to say I love this draft coming in from iAcademy. Definitely a step up from earlier. I feel like this is definitely something they could execute much better. And it's very straightforward what we're seeing here. If they could get a lock-in through the Cataclysm of the Jarvan, or even import through the Lissandra going into the fights, that's just a huge number of CC that they can work with, then it's definitely something that could be very well feasible for the side of iAcademy. But looks like TUP, I'm not gonna bait into that anymore. That could be a last-minute change. So Yeah, we're just gonna wait for that.
Yeah, we can talk about more about IAC's composition right here. IAC did a really good job at adjusting their composition because in the first game they were going for a more poke and pick style comp. Here they're clearly going for a more team fight oriented style with probably focusing on the Jace just keep on split pushing, similar to what Acedia did in the first game.
Right. So there you have it, folks. Looks like both sides have their compositions locked in. Definitely favor. Could be just my bias towards Lissandra, but yeah, because personally I'm one of my personal favorite champions. But beside the point, though, from IAC Academy, I think it ultimately comes down to, realistically, it comes down to who pulls the trigger first, because both sides have some pretty good engage potential. I think it is a little bit more definitive for TUP though, just because they have a lot more to work with the Alistar, with the Sejuani, with the Camille, and combined with the Orianna, makes for a really great combo. It's less so for Academy, but they do make up for it with a little bit more safety through the Misfortune and the Jason. It's for TUP, it's all in. For Game Changers, they have a little bit more safety to work with.
Yeah, and also for TUP, we can talk about this kind of not cheese, but a different pick in the bot lane. They opt to pick with the Draven, and probably you could say it's overconfidence from TUP's bot lane, seeing as how they handled the IAC's bot lane in game 1. But at the same time, it's also a really good combo with the Alistar and also the Sejuani. It just goes to show how much TUP is thinking of trying to get the bot lane rolling with the snowball, especially with Draven's passive that just gives him more gold. And if you add it with the new rune, it gives, when you do a takedown, it gives 25 more gold. And it just keeps on stacking the gold until Draven becomes an unstoppable monster in the Rift.
So we'll just have to see, Crazy Apple, if this will transition well for either side as we head into our final game for today. Once again, welcome to the Garena LoL Varsity League. This is going to be Game 6 between iAcademy Game Changers versus Monsterville for Jijum from the Technological University of the Philippines. Still a mouthful, to be honest, but cool name nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a really good name. And if you look at the initials, they purposely made it MVP.
Smart move right there. I like that play towards the acronym, but this is what Neep has been talking about. This Alistar skin with the bell.
Still best skin. I agree with Neep. This is the best Alistar skin ever.
Yep, I'd have to agree with you guys right there. I mean, it's good for TUP because it gives you a morale booster, keeps the energy positive, but can't really say the same for the enemy team because it gets annoying at times. So,
especially imagine they're just gonna dive in with the Sejuani and the Camille and the Draven in the bot lane, and Alistar's gonna be tonk tonk.
Yeah, imagine if it's just all 4 of them without the Alistar, and then in the background Alistar just goes tonk 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 tonk. That's just a huge disrespect though. But nonetheless, we'll just have to see though. Like I mentioned though, I'm a fan of iAcademy's composition in the sense that TUP, they have a lot of engage. It's very heavy. There's a lot of heavy elements that they could work with. But then again, iAcademy, I like the balance in a way. They have engage tools. They have great poke through the Jace as well as the Misfortune. Sword doesn't necessarily need to go. He doesn't need to commit to full-on fights by going in. It depends on him. He could poke through range, he could go melee for him, whichever. Things do look better for iAcademy. If they gauge that, they could sway a fight in their favor. And if all comes to worse, they have a disengage through the Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. And also, because of that flexibility, IAC can just opt to use other strategies, as you said. But also, I actually have here some statistics for you.
Oh, okay.
Seeing that, did you know? IAC among all mid laners has the highest skill participation at 82.6%. It has the 3rd highest KDA among mid laners.
I'm honestly not surprised because if there's one player I heavily favor that I'm personally a fan of, if you have to make me choose a favorite amongst the iAcademy players, definitely Import. If anything, he's probably one of the most consistent players across, not just for iAcademy, but just for the LVL in general.
Yeah.
So, especially with this Lissandra, I feel like if there's really people that really need to make things work for iAcademy for this composition to just go full circle, I'd definitely peg it on Import on this Lissandra as well as Sinigang on the Janna, just for that reliability to reset things or disengage if things do get RE for iAcademy. Like I mentioned, TUP, they have less margin for error because they have to go all in. Meanwhile, looks like that will be a flash coming on from Buggy Vando, but it looks like Sinigang going to take the full burst damage. Navi just doing so much. Buggy Van has to be careful, though. That is going to be the stun. That could be First Blood, though. First Blood indeed goes to Navi, and that is going to be a heal in the nick of time coming in from Miko through the Alistar kit.
Yeah, it wasn't also it wasn't only the heal. There was also the rune that I was talking about. I forgot the name, but it has a delayed healing effect. It doesn't immediately heal you after killing the target. So when you get that takedown, you get 15% heal from, I think you're missing health.
Man, that was hashtag calculated right there by Navi and Miko. Good start for them. And this is something that iAcademy wants to avoid, though. As a Draven, it's high risk, high reward. If you don't get things going, then he's just gonna be a pretty flimsy executioner throughout the rest of the game. But if he gets the snowball, boy oh boy, you have quite the mess to deal with if you're iAcademy. But still, it is too early in the game to tell that that's just one kill. Sure, it's definitely a leg up for Navi, but there's still a lot of room for iAcademy to recuperate.
Yeah, and to hit you up with another stat, just because there was a bot lane kill.
Did you know?
Did you know? TUP Navi has the third highest KDA among ADCs. And he's the only one in the top 10 of the KDA leaderboards in the LVL for TUP.
With Navi, I think the tricky part here with TUP is there's a lot of superstars.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit, if there's one person that's continuously hyped every single stream, it's Acedia. But because of that, a lot of the players from TUP aren't necessarily highlighted as much. At least Navi, if you guys watch the intro video to the LVL, the Light the Sky intro, at least he gets some decent screen time. He's not I mean, Acedia shown at the start, but then again, at least Navi gets that highlight where his name is shown, the school is shown. But it looks like we have a little bit of a fight here. Acedia just going full on to Swar. Swar very low on mana, not able to get the full retaliation. And again, this is going to be Acedia showing dominance in the top lane.
Yeah, it's also, I just realized that Swar is carrying the Electrocute Keystone Mastery, which is quite a difference from Acedia from the last week. He was playing Jace as well in the top lane, and he went with the Summon Airy Keystone Mastery, which would probably be, I would say, a difference in playstyle for both top laners.
Right.
Acedia would, as we've seen from game 1 and also the previous games, he would try to bully out the enemy top laner, keep on pressuring him until he can get that advantage, or he can get that dive with his really aggressive jungler, the same as on Caesar. So that's how he would get the advantage. That's why he's this really big highlight superstar player in TUP.
We'll just have to see, though. I mean, TUP definitely, realistically, TUP definitely expected to perform in this game. But then again, again, I'm all about the underdogs. I would love to see iAcademy take it 1-1. I mean, I've worked with Acedia before. I mean, there's definitely a lot more reason for me to support TUP. But again, at the end of the day, I'm all about the underdogs. iAcademy, fingers crossed. I'm really, really hoping for a 1-1. But that's just me personally. Going back to this game, though, take note of itemization for Acedia, though. We'll be building towards the Tiamat, and that will grant him a pretty decent amount of wave clear. That will allow him to kind of go head-to-head with Swara, in which case looks like that will be a dive, and though Swara looks like Cha as well, very much winning the vicinity. Hextech ultimatum for that lockdown onto Swara. I don't think Swara will be able to escape this, and there you go, boom, boom, pow, Acedia gets the kill.
Yeah, as I said before, Acedia just plays his top lane so well that it baits the enemy top lane. At first, he would play really pressured. He would pressure the enemy top laner, and so they would feel like they're trapped in the cage in the top lane. But when he lets go a bit of that pressure, the enemy top lane feels like, oh, I can get some CS, I can get some headway into this top lane. Then Caesar goes in, and as you can see there, because Sor was just in his tower for so long, he didn't have vision in the river.
Looks like you're gonna try to seek vengeance for his fallen comrade, but can't overly commit, though. That's a level 5 Jarvan going head-to-head against a level 7 Camille. Not to mention a Camille that is way ahead in comparison to his counterpart in fact. So I'm really hoping that we see a lot more proactivity from Hyo, because if there's one way that they can keep Acedia in check, it's through that proactivity. And if Hyo can't even make that type of play within the earlier phase as a jungler, then we'll just have to see how it goes for iAcademy as the game goes on.
Yeah, and actually, Caesar is just out farming Hyo as well. Like, we haven't really seen Hyo going for a lot of any of these ganks, but Caesar has 53 CS compared to the 36 from Hyo, and right now there's probably some action in the jungle.
Oh, really? Yo, looking for something. Looks like great Blaze of Prison coming in to halt Swar, but meantime, still Sejuani has to back away. He's on the lower end of the spectrum as far as mana goes, but looks like that will be the escape.
Oh, Import, the sliver of health. Ah.
Ingat
wow.
Koya, ingat.
Ingat Koya, exactly. But yeah, that Draven snipe almost killed him. But at the same time, Navi has just so much control in this bot lane along with Miko that he has a 10 CS lead against who would you think? I would think bottom lane that probably even or even ahead because of this misfortune that can just keep on spamming her Qs and probably could hit it on the Alistar.
Yeah, and I think the gold translating to this much of the lead is combined by not just the kills, but you also have to take into account the CS difference as well as whatever benefits Navi gets when he cashes in on those adoration stacks. So that's going to be pretty huge for TUP. It's kind of the same nature where in you know how the Gangplank just manages to stock up a little bit more of that extra gold because of that kit? Yeah. Kind of same goes for Navi. It's just that when you're Draven, of course, it's a little bit more risky because you have to bank on killing or I think assists count as well, right?
No, only
kills.
Count,
okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of kills, you know, that's a bit more of a risk that you play. But then again, that's what I mentioned. High risk, high reward for Draven. And so far, it's more of the high rewards being raped by Navi in the spot lane.
Yeah, and right now we're having this a bit of lull moment in the action, even though we see a lot of like skirmishing champions on both teams. Did you know another statistic I can hit you up with is TUP Miko is the second highest wards place player in the LPL at almost 41 wards placed per game.
I kind of want to... Okay, I'll have to hold off my question there. Looks like you're going to get the initiate onto a Cydia. That could result... Yes, that is going to be the Cataclysm for the lockdown. And Cydia goes down. Swar gets the Vengeance skill.
Yeah, that was a really nice play coming from IAC. Hio now trying again for a gank, but it didn't come from the river because Acedia just has so much control in that river. Acedia didn't realize that Hio might be coming to the top lane, and right now TUP is trying to get this dragon, seeing that the IAC jungler is on the top side.
Yeah, systematically very well played out right there by TUP. I mean, at this point, that turret may potentially be going down to Academy. I'm not sure though if it'll be enough. Those waves are kind of starting to slow them up. But again, that is a Jace as well as a Jarvan the fourth dishing out the damage, and looks like that will be indeed the first turret take for Academy. Meanwhile, TUP gonna try to make some work here towards the bot lane. Looks like Sejuani has made that full rotation. Will be going down. Looks like we'll be going for this turret. That does kind of force Buggy Van and Sinigang in an awkward position where they have to kind of stay away from that turret because they could get engaged.
Yeah, and TUP right now looks like they're getting the first turret of the bot lane. TUP was trying to back on the Draven ult to prevent this the destruction of the top lane turret. But yeah, since it was a Jace and there was a Jarvan there, it was a really fast turret for the both of them.
Oh man, look at the CS difference though, Crazy Apple.
Oh yeah.
Mid lane 79 to 107, bot lane 83 to 107. Top lane, at least it's not really growing as much. But then again, mid lane and bot lane, oh, that's going to be a Shockwave onto Import, almost taking him down. It's not the first time Import managed to cheat death, though.
Yeah, this is not the first time. But at the same time, with just that Shockwave against Import, Import now is on the back foot and might go for a recall, which would extend Bam's gold lead. But at the same time, Kio's going in to support Import so that he can get the TS.
So there you have it. You're gonna make for a response there in distance with Aori for his mid lane. Looks like Import will be able to make a recall safely, though Bam is still gonna continue to linger. Will just allow himself the freedom to clear out these minion waves before making a recall. He was about to, but then again, seeing that opportunity. Meanwhile, Teleport coming in from Import just in the nick of time will be able to get this wave pushing in on it. But okay, almost.
Almost, yeah, that is an almost steal. And also, I kind of hate to burst your bubble here, Arctic, but this kind of looks like game one.
Oh man, well. Yeah.
Specifically for the CS numbers, I mean, like, look at TUP CS leads right now, as you mentioned earlier, as well as in the jungle position. Caesar has 92 CS against Hio's 52.
Right.
And as we've seen, Caesar, even though he's farming so well, he also has that really big pressure. Apart from against IAC's jungle, he also has really good ganks. And he had cheated that once, if I remember, in the Riverside.
Man, oh man, but still, one positive I do have to counter, one positive for Academy at least, is that it's not as much of a growing hopeless case in comparison to game 1 because, like I mentioned, if you're going to look at the kit that iAcademy, at least they have a little bit more to work with than earlier, wherein it was a huge lead that Hasidia had earlier. I think that's something that iAcademy could work with here. The only thing that's translating as far as TUP in this lead is the gold, but nobody is like super snowball heavy right now for TUP. So iAcademy, if they can find a great initiate, looks like that may potentially happen right now. Cataclysm looks like that's going to be the full misfortune of connecting onto Miko, and there you go. That's what I was waiting for. Meanwhile, Hasidia joking out with Swar, though Swar will be going down. Hasidia gets the kill. Meanwhile, TUP looks like they're going to go for the counter engage. Yodo tries to go in onto members of TUP. That will be fruitful for them. Double kill for Buggy Fan. They're going to continue pursuit. Looks like John might be the next casualty here. Bomb tries to run away. Looks like we will have to leave his jungler for dead. And Buggy Fan, he might get this kill. He's going to be continuing, but no, not just enough. But then again, iAcademy comes up on top in that fight.
Yeah, IAC comes up in that exchange 1 for 4. And I think IAC just heard your prayers right now.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, actually, it was a 1 for yeah, it was a 1 for 4. And oh man, IAC just got a really good engage as TUP probably was trying to get the top lane third and they kind of overextended. And IAC would just a snap of a finger, pulled the trigger and got all those kills.
This kind of brings me back to those miscalculations that TUP every now and then has that tendency to make whenever they have a decent lead. Yeah. This is very reminiscent of what happened during week 2 when they went up against AMA University. Yeah. There were these very awkward overextends, a little bit of overconfidence in how they go about the map that allows their enemy team to capitalize on it whenever they push the envelope a bit too much. And that's kind of what happened for iAcademy. Great job for them to capitalize on that. But then again, I'm still waiting for that opportunity wherein I see a proactive play from iAcademy as opposed to them just capitalizing on mistakes from TUP. Meanwhile, those are not able to deal with Acedia right now. It's just so tricky. Swar is just not having a good day in this match against TUP, both games.
Yeah, and Camille just had that small advantage from earlier. It keeps on extending that lead. Props to Acedia. Other than the ganks coming from Caesar, he was also ganked by Hio. But at the same time, I think he just has an understanding of the top lane better.
Right.
Probably because of the champion as well. He's really good at this split push and carry champions in the top lane that he can keep on bullying his counterparts.
Man, let's go ahead and see those still scoreboard right now. Currently still equal, I'd say. It's not much of a huge difference. Like we saw, iAcademy has all the potential in the world to go toe-to-toe with TUP. It's just that I'm still waiting for a bit more proactivity. But then again, I think it's asking for too much at the same time because I have to give credit to what the compositions are. TUP, it's within their nature to just initiate full on. Looks like that will be a club onto Bamdo. Cataclysm does come in. That's a full combo that he hits and boom, down he goes. But yeah, the point I was making here is that TUP, I guess iAcademy, they shouldn't technically be the ones being too proactive because that's more of TUP just because of all the engage tools that they have. Yeah. If anything, like I mentioned, iAcademy has that balance with their composition. They can engage, they could just kind of poke from a distance, they have the disengage to Regina, things kind of go south. Yeah. And it's just more of them playing to what their composition is as opposed to needing to be proactive. So I'll have to correct myself there. Still very well played by iAcademy, but then again, my concern is that they don't want to bank too much on waiting for a clash for TUP to go wrong.
Yeah, and I actually think that IAC has a good chance of winning this game because, as we said, they adjusted their composition. They went for a more kind of standard comp. They went for a more team fight oriented, and yeah, it's a lot more flexible. And I've seen this a lot in solo queue and also some in competitive. Whenever there's a misfortune in the team, when she gets that really good ultimate and just keeps on shredding the other team and they win the fight, it just turns it around so well that it could snowball into a big lead for iAcademy.
Man, we'll just have to see though, because so far I would say though that TUP has somewhat of control, a bit better of control over this game over iAcademy. So I'm still waiting for that, how do I put it, that shining, shimmering, splendid moment for iAcademy wherein they just pull the trigger and just dictate things for themselves as opposed to them being much more responsive to TUP. But looks like, speaking of response, it looks like TUP going to go on the offense. Boom! Import is obliterated in that fight. Looks like TUP's not done this yet. We'll get the lockdown onto Buggy Van. Buggy Van trying to walk it out. Theo trying to salvage his team. Looks like that won't be a shockwave that connects onto anybody, and that will be the saving grace for IAC.
Yeah, and TUP get right there getting a 1 for 0 and diving so deep in the third, which cost them earlier. But right now with really good execution, they pulled it off and got the first mid lane turret.
Meanwhile, still, that I gotta say though, that could have gone worse for Academy, but they held their ground right there, only allowing themselves one casualty in the form of import. Other than that, things still are looking pretty bad. I wouldn't say good, but it's not at a point where they couldn't come back.
Yeah, okay. And another point for TUP would be they have these moments, as you said earlier, that they're really, really aggressive and they make a lot of these mistakes. Even though there were a 3-1 a team, if you when I look at the statistics for TDA, they virtually weren't there except for like except for TUP Navi,
right?
Which showcases what kind of playstyle this team has. They just keep on scrapping and skirmishing against other team, but they would usually come out like 2 people ahead or at least 1 person ahead, and after that they would just keep on getting these objectives, keep on increasing the tempo so that the other team would be dictated to what they want to do.
Okay, let's see though. If you're gonna notice, Acedia continuing to shove out the spot lane, forcing Sword to go for responses as opposed to seeking out opportunities himself across this map. And take note, this isn't a good position that iAcademy wants to be in because the only teleport that's up on their side is import. If ever a fight does break out, Swar might not be able to respond, but looks like here comes some activity I've been waiting for. Import is trying to make a play onto Acedia. Acedia just slowly walking. That is going to be a speed boost from Swar. Import looking to connect that ultimate though, but no, Acedia just too slippery a target for them to chase down.
Yeah, and I was actually waiting for a play like this from iAcademy because as we've seen, Swar is having a really bad time against Acedia, and the only way that they could... there might be another fight here.
This might even put him in a worse position. Hextech ultimatum under turret though. This could be Swar managing to turn things around, but no, looks like Import though gonna manage to salvage things. Acedia just gonna try to bow time for the rest of TUP. They could potentially go for a Baron though. Acedia is the grand distraction for iAcademy, and indeed that's what they're going for. They're going to be going for this Baron. Teleport is going to be coming up from Import though, but take note, heal is down. The chances of a Baron steal are a little bit less in iAcademy's favor right now. Import looks like he's going to go for the lockdown. Will be followed up by an ultimate from Buggy Van, dealing so much damage onto the members of TUP. I'm not sure that secures the kill just yet. Navi though is managed to have been taken down by Buggy Van. Meanwhile, that will be a double kill. Buggy Van really serving it in this fight. Looks like Bam will be going down, triple kill. And that finally was what I was looking for.
There's still one more.
Meanwhile, though, that will be the ace. And Baron, not a problem for iAcademy.
Yeah, because they killed everyone, and there would actually been a 1 for 5 trade because Hio died earlier, and whoa, Acedia is going in for Import, and Import goes down.
Galit ang papi, your vengeance was there for Acedia.
Yeah, and at least Acedia kind of made it a 2 for 5, and they still got the Baron. So if you think about it, the gold, it was kind of even. So here comes the replay right here. TUP was getting this Baron, and Import TP to a ward right there. He had a really good engage into this pit, using all of his AoE spells, which damaged TUP, as well as Buggy Van just having that ult right there. It eventually stopped. His bullet time is eventually stopped by Bam's shockwave, but Miko right here trying to zone out IAC, which Buggy Van couldn't deal more damage, but Import still dealing damage to the Baron pit. But sadly, they did not have their jungler, so Caesar was able to secure that Baron, and he tried to go out, but eventually Bam would fall here, and Import would chase Caesar. But Import with his Zonias just right in the nick of time and just hits his Q, takes down Caesar.
There we go. That's what I've been waiting for iAcademy. I like the proactivity right there, capitalizing on TUP, going a little bit too ambitious for that Baron. And take note, they didn't even need Swar, they didn't even need PR. It looks like this is going to be yet another fight. That's going to be a heavy lockdown onto Sinigang, though capitalized onto the T by TUP. That mispositioning that caught out of place there Sinigang was, and looks like this will potentially be a take on the Mountain Drake.
Yeah, this has actually been the second time that IAC has been picked in their jungle. Yeah. The first was Hio in that Baron pit, but they were able to turn it around. But right now, this Dragon is going to TUP with a second Mountain Drake.
I think the tricky part here is that if you're gonna look at Academy's, well, then again, I would say this is some pretty balanced vision from Academy. It's just that I feel that since they're in a position wherein they're at more of a deficiency, sure, they got a great clash out of that Baron, but still the gold lead is in favor of TUP. The tricky part is that I think they should probably still focus more on defensive, and if they do want to go for offensive vision, probably lean it more towards Baron, just so that they have better coverage wherein it doesn't allow TUP to get more pickoffs off of them. If you notice, towards the Dragon part, it's a little bit darker for Academy there. That was a reason why I feel Sinigang was picked off, because they were lingering in an area wherein they didn't necessarily have the best coverage of vision.
Yeah, that is true. And also, if you look at it, IAC only has really one person that has so much gold, and that's Buggy Van with 811 on his KDA right now. And if TUP would somehow neutralize all his damage, then IAC would be lacking so much in these team fights. But at the same time, if Buggy Van would hit that money bullet time, just like in that Baron pit, then IAC can turn this game around. Even though they might play defensively, but with the right wards and with the right flank, they can turn this around.
Man, at least, how do I put it? Over-eager in the vision game for Academy here. Wasn't able to coordinate the I think that was a double control ward that was dropped, if I'm not mistaken, towards that singular brush towards the Baron side. Still, it looks like Cha will manage to spot it out Sinigang there, but he has to be careful though. He would have been caught in a very awkward position had he continued. Meanwhile, it looks like TUP going to continue to establish vision back in their favor, getting a little bit of offensive wards towards the side of Academy. So, yeah.
Yeah, at this point in the game, both IAC and TUP don't really have any objectives to go for.
Right.
So this is kind of a lull in the moment. But at the same time, you can see TUP has, you can say, more experience or has more proactivity because they keep going inside Academy's jungle and keep putting down wards again and again, even though IAC keeps clearing them. And as you said, IAC should play more defensively, and that's what they're doing right now. It's just that TUP also knows that. So they're reacting to it, and what we're waiting right here is for a fight, and probably IAC to capitalize on a mistake from TUP.
I think the tricky part here is that if we're going to look at how Academy is playing the defense game, it's kind of like they're taking that rule. Okay, I'll have to hold off right there. Meanwhile, Acedia, look at the damage! That's absolutely insane. Even with the spawns coming in here from PO, looks like Sinigang, it's going to be a full collapse. Coming in from Academy, you take our friend.
But look on the other side of the base of IAC.
Ooh, meanwhile though, TUP taking advantage of, and take note, a lot of ammo has been exhausted to take down Acedia in that fight, though. Here comes Multime coming in from Buggy Van, but no, looks like this will be TUP's fight. The damage is just too much in the midst of all the resources exhausted onto Acedia. Didn't leave much left for the rest of TUP, and this could potentially be the game, though. He goes down. That will be the ace. TUP comes up big in that fight. Looks like they're going to be going for this inhibitor. Once this inhibitor goes down, they could potentially finish this game. Take note, very, very heavy death timers across the board for Academy.
And right there, you can see how TUP is so decisive. They know that Acedia is getting the attention of all of IAC in the bot lane, so they went to top lane. It was a premeditated strategy for them that they would rotate to the top side. It would be a 4-0-1 strategy, and they just kept barreling down the top lane when IAC went there to defend. TUP knows their cooldowns because they are, as you said, they already were used on Acedia. So they went in for the fight, got that inhibitor, and got the Nexus turret.
Still, regardless, was all set and done. Looks like TUP going to restrain themselves. Not going to push the boundaries too much. Definitely a good call there. They don't have to force things too much, especially with the goalie that they. Let's go and check out the replay, though.
Yeah, so starting here, it's the fight between TUP and IAC on the top side, and Hio tries to go in, tries to initiate the fight. But look at Miko's positioning right here, right on top of Buggy Van, so it stops the bullet time and also flashed in just to get that pulverize. And Sinigang tries to salvage the fight by using her ultimate, but a well-placed shockwave by TUP BAM just decimates IAC, and here TUP just chases down for more kills to solidify that their win in that team fight and get the Nexus turret.
Man, as far as skills exhausted there, TUP definitely played that fight a little bit more systematically, even in the midst of that being a 4v4. But then again, that's just Acedia because of the distraction he managed to provide. Meanwhile, Acedia, again, just juking it out against Swarm. My friend is not having a good time in this game. Meanwhile, that will be a shockwave. Does only go on to Miko though, but Buggy Van, in the midst of everything, tries to go for the ultimate, but he gets taken down. Yo gonna try to make a sweet escape here. Meanwhile, Miko is chasing down support for support. Yo tries to distract TUP from preventing them from finishing the game. Looks like it does allow him to distract everyone else from TUP. Instead of going for towers, they will go for the chase instead. Navi looks like will finally secure the kill onto Hyo, prolongs the inevitable, and this will be TUP going into the offensive. Hyo tries to distract, but looks like TUP can't go for the finish.
Yeah, TUP is just having fun right there, trying to pad their KDAs, but TUP looks like they're trying to finish right now. They're getting the mid lane inhibitor, and there's a fight in the Nexus turret.
Oh, a City Hextech ultimate, and that's just so much damage. Import couldn't deal with it at all. Citygun might be the next casualty here. Looks like Eduardo. Acedia takes Nexus turret damage. Down, down, down he goes. But still, that Nexus is very much vulnerable. Bam and Miko just balancing between that Jace, and that will be the ace. And this will indeed be the game. Looks like we won't be seeing any 1-1. Consistency is the name of the game for week 3. Take on my Baron, take mga kaibigan.
They're also taking the Baron at the same time, and they got the Baron. Ang sabi nga nila, increase IP.
Yeah.
Or, as you say, BE.
Congratulations. There you go. TUP just taking it 2-0 against iAcademy.
Yeah, woo. And wow, TUP, they also did how they did their game 1. It was kind of slow, methodical for the first like 10-14 minutes. Then when they found the item breakpoints that they could abuse, especially with Acidia's lead at the top lane, they just kept split pushing and trying to take control of IAC's jungle. And through that vision control, they were able to keep pressuring IAC and eventually win the game.
I think I gotta get my commendations to TUP because I was giving them a lot of flack last week during week 2 during their game against AEMA University because they were doing there was a lot of overextension in that previous game. So I'm very happy to see that TUP living up to everyone's expectations, was able to make the necessary adaptations. I think it's not just the adaptations, but generally there's a huge difference with TUP and iAcademy where they're at right now. But then again, it's understandable because iAcademy is new to the collegiate scene, so it's somewhat to be expected. What I will say this though, iAcademy, I'm loving the potential I'm seeing. It is yet to be seen how they'll fare for the rest of the LVL, but in the long term, I'm loving the chances as they go further into the league.
I actually think the same way because, as I said at the start of their match, IAC has this really dedicated coach and specs. So if we can find the chinks on what the mistakes that they're doing and we can iron them out, I think IAC has a long way to go in the LVL.
Definitely, and I'm very confident that Specs could eventually mold this team into the great list they know they can achieve. So there you have it, folks. What a great set of games that we had. Let's go ahead and check out the final standings, if I'm not mistaken, for the day, or just overall results of what transpired. So let's go ahead and check it out in just a bit, just so that we could get a refresher. So that will be a +1 to TUP, propelling them to the top of the ladder. And yeah, overall, that being said, we'll just have to see who will be eventually joining TUP, because I think that at this point I could be a little bit more confident in saying that this could be TUP's road to the playoffs at this point. That's a confident predict. It's a little, maybe I might end up eating those if ever TUP suddenly falters in the next week, but I don't think that will be the case because they're just so convincing in this series.
Yeah, the trajectory they're going right now, they have really good games, and as you can see here, the schedules for the coming week, for their first match would be iAcademy Game Changers versus FEU Fit Tamaraws. For our next match, the second match would be between Technological University of the Philippines versus Malayan College's Laguna, the Warlocks, which would be a really good match to watch. The third match would be the most hype, and I'm really looking forward to this. It would be the University of the Philippines Dinaman Oblation Esports versus UST Tala Tigers, because UST had a 3-1 record and they weren't able to play this week, and they watch Oblation Esports falter today. But maybe UST, or I mean Operation Esports, would find a way to adjust and probably make some more strategies and would come in next week and defeat the Tala Tigers.
It basically comes down to, after a little bit of an upset for UP Diliman, will they be able to get their bearings and come back stronger in week 4? Abangan sa susunod na kabanata ng LPL. Pero looks like we'll just have to end here for now, guys. So thank you very much for joining us for the stream. We're going to be saying our farewells for now. We've been your caster, Sun Arctic at the Service Fam, with me. Thank you for joining us, Crazy Apple. Always a pleasure. Come back soon. Come back maybe. We can happen in the future. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, again, this has been the Garena League of Legends Varsity League 2017 Summer Term, powered by Lenovo Light the Sky. We'll be seeing you again during the next weekend. But for the meantime, adios. The Barons still are a little bit less in iAcademy's favor right now. Import looks like he's going to go for the lockdown. Will be followed up by an ultimate from Buggy Man, dealing so much damage onto the members of TUP. I'm not sure that secures the kill just yet. Navi, though, is managed to have been taken down by Buggy Van. Meanwhile, that will be a double kill. Buggy Van really serving it in this fight. Looks like Bam will be going down triple kill. And take note, a lot of ammo has been exhausted to take down Asudia in that fight, though. Here comes Bullsline coming in from Buggy Van, but no, looks like this will be TUP's fight. The damage is just too much in the midst of all the resources exhausted onto Asidia. Didn't leave much left for the rest of TUP, and this could potentially be the game, though. He goes down. That will be the ace. TUP comes up big in that fight. Looks like they're going to be going for this inhibitor. Once this inhibitor goes down, they could potentially finish this game. Take note, very, very heavy death timers across the board for iAcademy.
And right there, you can see how TUP is so decisive.
So that Nexus is very much vulnerable. Bam and Mika just bouncing between that chase, and that will be the ace. And this will indeed be the game. Looks like we won't be seeing any 1-1. Consistency is the name of the game for week 3. Check out my battle.
They're also taking the bar at the same time. And they got the bar.
Congratulations.
Increase IP.
Yeah.
Or as you say, DE.
Congratulations.
Not enough Garena shells to buy the latest League of Legends skin? On sale now? Get shells anytime, anywhere with your Globe or Touch mobile number. Go to gamer.com.ph and sign up with your mobile number and enter the verification code you will receive via SMS. Log in and choose the game and pin you want. Check out to purchase the pin with your load or through your postpaid account and receive the pin on your phone instantly. Never miss a sale on your favorite League of Legends skins and champions with Gamer.